Watch this. Coach Han returns killer side underspin serves that leave most players helpless, and the secret is all in your fingers. Watch why my receive works so well against heavy side underspin serves. Notice three things. My hand stays relaxed, my stroke is compact, and I use a lot of friction. Those are the three keys. My swing is small, my hand isn't stiff, and I maximize the brush contact. That's the secret to handling these serves. A lot of recreational players tense up when they see heavy side spin and backspin. The moment you tighten up, you eat the spin. Tension is the enemy. When you tense up, your instinct is to collide with the ball, just hit straight into it. And of course that means you eat the spin, you have to brush, you must generate friction on the ball. Now the third key point. I've talked before about how the stroke for attacking after your own serve and the stroke for receiving are completely different in size. They cannot look the same. For receiving, the motion has to shrink way down. Watch, when my partner sends this ball, look at my backhand loop. Compare it to my normal rip. It looks almost the same shape, right? But it's much smaller. The amplitude is tiny. It's like a compact rip, same structure, but I've lowered my contact point, added more friction, and brought everything down just a little. Those are your three keys: small action, soft hands, heavy brush. Next, let me repeat them. Small action, relaxed hands, heavy friction. Remember those 3 points, they're genuinely critical. If you can fix these three things, your backhand loop against backspin will improve noticeably. You'll be able to match the rhythm of the incoming spin instead of getting jammed. Without that rhythm, the ball controls you. So keep those three principles in mind. Now, the second key point builds on this foundation. These three ideas are really the secret to solving the backhand backspin problem. Get them right, and everything else follows more naturally. During the receive, here's something that surprises a lot of players. The heavier the spin my partner gives me, the easier it actually is to loop because all I have to do is brush. I don't need to worry about anything else. More spin on the incoming ball means more friction I can use. It sounds backwards, but the reason so many players eat the spin on receive isn't really the spin itself, it's that their stroke is too big. Think about it. The ball is diving downward fast because of the backspin. If your upward swing is slower than that downward dive, you lose. You eat the rotation. Watch, if my partner sends a slow, light backspin, I can use a big motion and still get it on the table. Even though I'm swinging upward with the same big motion, the ball's downward speed overwhelms my upward speed. The timing doesn't match, and the ball dumps into the net. That's exactly why a compact stroke works better, it's easier to control. So when your opponent gives you a really heavy backspin, shrink your stroke. Make it smaller and accelerate upward faster. Remember this principle, it is genuinely effective. We train this way ourselves. Small action, heavy friction, relaxed hand. Keep the hand loose. Oh, and if the serve isn't that heavy, then it's even easier, just receive normally. Can you see what I mean? When your opponent's spin is extremely strong, the ball dives fast. If the spin isn't that heavy, you can take your time and still brush it up. Watch, see, it comes up fine. But now my partner speeds up the spin, and if my brushing speed stays slow, watch, same exact stroke, I'm already in the net. I ate the spin. So what do? I make my brushing action faster. Watch closely. Nothing else changes. The stroke size is the same, my body isn't adding extra force, the friction technique is identical, the amplitude hasn't changed. The only difference is speed of the brush. What people call a heavy or fast ball really just means the downward dive and rotation speed are too quick for your stroke. Your finishing motion is too slow to keep up. You can't control the ball, you can't hold it on the racket long enough. But if the ball isn't spinning that hard, the same motion works fine. Now, some of you might say you're copying my stroke exactly but still can't lift the ball. Here's why: when you brush, you're not concentrating the speed where it matters. Where do I concentrate it? Right at the moment of contact, watch the racket head speed. Let me show you two swings. Same swing frequency on both, but the first one doesn't lift the ball. Watch closely. Why? The overall speed looks the same, but the acceleration at contact is completely different. This is a crucial distinction. So really work on this point. Once you can loop backspin reliably, your opponent won't dare serve heavy underspin to you anymore. Now look at the first attempt. The rhythm seemed right, the speed matched, but the ball didn't come up. Why? The hand was tense, the racket face was too open, and the motion wasn't focused at the contact point. Here's the key distinction. When I say accelerate, I don't mean make your whole stroke faster. You still need to hold the ball, stay, relax through the swing, and let the racket head turn over at contact. It's the friction that speeds up, not the entire arm. Watch, not just fast for the sake of fast. See how stiff that looks? That's raw speed without purpose. What needs to be fast is the brush, the friction at contact. If you just swing the whole arm faster, you still eat the spin. Speed without friction is useless. So how do you actually generate friction? By snapping the racket head through the ball, letting it turn over at contact. The most important principle I teach about friction is this: accelerate, don't add force. Let me say that again: accelerate, don't add force. A faster swing means nothing if it's just raw muscle. What matters is the speed of the brush across the ball at the moment of contact. You can swing your whole arm hard and still eat the spin. But if you increase the friction speed, the rate at which the rubber grabs and releases the ball, that's what lifts heavy backspin. Sit with those words. Accelerate, don't add force. Think about them carefully. They apply to every friction-based stroke you'll ever play. It's about friction velocity, not arm strength. Then, if you want to become a stronger player, and most of you are using inverted rubber, this friction principle is everything. It's directly tied to how well you handle spin. Here's your progression. First, learn to use your fingers to drive the racket face into rotation. That's the foundation, finger-powered rotation of the racket head through the ball. Second, once you can rotate the face consistently, add acceleration to that rotation. Rotate, then accelerate the rotation. Get those two pieces working and your shot quality jumps immediately. Watch, my partner receives one. The racket head turns over, and the ball clears the net with spin. Rotation alone gets the ball on the table, that's your safety net. Add acceleration to that rotation, and now you've got heavy spin. Then when you combine that with your arm driving forward, extending through the ball, that's when you get the explosive power loop. Build it step by step. Start with finger power, learn to rotate the racket face. This applies to forehand, backhand, serves, everything. Every friction stroke begins with finger-driven rotation. Then layer in acceleration. Then add the forward push of the arm and body. That's how you build toward the power loop. And in a match, you choose your level. At 9-all, you accelerate the rotation and loop with heavy spin to guarantee the ball lands. Up 8-4, you commit to the full forward drive and blast through it. Rotation, acceleration, explosion, 3 stages, 1 principle. If your friction isn't working, one of those 3 stages is missing. Build them one at a time. Remember, accelerate, don't add force. Take that to your next session and start with your fingers.